Right, so I just want to make a quick video about the new implants. So we did some Ickenham testing last night on the new Ickenham based on PTS, which is where I am now. There was a couple of things. So the base is pretty cool. It's got its ups and it's got its downs. Whether or not it's going to play like it did last night on live, whether it's actually going to go forward like this, we don't know. But there's one kind of glaring issue that I feel like I can talk about right now, and that is the new implants. And not necessarily the implant system, but the new implants themselves. So, in Planetside, so we have implants at the moment. We can equip one at a time. And, they do a variation of things. They're not incredibly effective, but implants like Battle Hardened can be really, really nice to use if you're an infantry player and you kind of don't want to be affected by all that bulldog spam. Makes sense. They're not overpowered, really. They're just, pretty nice to have. And actually, they had a quality of life feature for people who've been playing the game for a long time. Now, the new implant system, as you can see on the bottom right there, is a bit different. You can equip 2 implants at once, and what implants do and how you unlock them and everything has changed. Now, I'm not going to go over how you unlock them into too much detail, but I want to talk about what they do and specifically what 3 implants do. Okay, so we're going to go to the implant screen right now. So as you can see, I'm just going to show you, you can see there's 2 implants at once, and you can, there's no selection. You can run whichever 2 you want in any combination. There's no kind of restriction, say, oh, if you're running this, you can't run that. No, you can run all of them. Okay, so let's go to the implant screen. Okay, so here we have. You'll notice some of them look different, and I'll explain why they're gold. So quickly, just to give a heads up, you unlock tiers and you spend points to upgrade tiers. Tiers can be, points can be obtained by breaking down duplicate implants you have. Now, and it increases in cost per tier. Now, the important thing to notice is that the max tier of an implant will give you a bonus, and it's usually a bonus for when you kill someone. So the 3 or 4 implants I want to talk about are going to be Assimilate, Battle Hardened 5, Catlike 5, and Regeneration 5. Also, I want to touch on Ammo Printer just because I think it's really cool and it's long overdue. A lot of people have different kind of abilities on this, and kind of thoughts on it. Now, just to quickly go over it, it's basically restocks ammo. And the max level, the level I'm going to be talking about on all these implants, the max level is you regenerate a clip every 60 seconds, which is really, really nice. Some people aren't a fan of that because they say, well, that removes team play, and then a lot of VS players like, well, what's the point of my Beetlejuice now? Personally, I think this is a great idea because if you can stay alive for them long stints, you might not be with an engineer, you not be with your team. If you can be behind enemy lines playing really, really effectively as infantry, then I think, being able to regen a magazine every 60 seconds, I think that's really useful, and that really plays to you, because if you're good enough and you can survive, you shouldn't be punished by running out of ammo. But yeah, that's Ammo Printer. I think that's going to be fun for a lot of people. Moss on the NCNTR. So first up we have Assimilate. Now, as you can see here, it's about, on a headshot kill, you restore shield. And if you look at on a headshot kill, you restore 100 shield, kill an enemy vehicle, restores 150 shield, etc., etc. Okay, so that last level is kind of, it's very nice if you're an infantry player like myself who has, a high headshot ratio. Because you basically, you can survive longer, with your resist shield held down kind of thing, mowing people down. It's not always wise to do, but if you get in them situations, it's actually quite nice. It's not going to help in a 1v1, because, you've actually got to kill the enemy before you get that 100 shield. But what it will help with is if you're in a 2v1, so you can kind of survive a bit more, or you're in a 1v1, then it goes to a 2v1 or something like that. That's really nice. And that's one of the implants. I don't think this is imbalanced because, after all, we're talking about average about 143 damage per bullet, so it isn't really quite a bullet. You can survive afterwards, and assuming you've already taken damage, I think it's not game breaking, but it's a really nice feature for those of us who hit heads a lot. Okay, so next we've got Battle Hardened. Now, it's not really changed much, as you can see here. It's still Battle Hardened, but I'm reviewing this because I think everybody who plays infantry has used Battle Hardened and knows that, it's kind of got no downsides. You're sacrificing it like an implant slot, but, you're not getting affected by that bulldog motion shake, any hit flinching, anything like that, which is really, really useful. Especially, if you're a dedicated infantry player, because it means that you can always be as accurate as possible. So as you can see, it reduces the shake and flinch from explosions and bullet impacts by 50%. Very nice. I think that's actually lower than Battle Hardened 4 is at the moment. I'm not quite sure. But then if you kill a target, you reduce flinch and shake by 100% for 10 seconds. So if you are, if you're going on streaks, you're not going to be affected. You can just aim and not have to deal with it. It's really, really nice, and I think that's it's good. I don't think it's overpowered, but I think it's going to help people who are farming make the most of their time without being like spammed out by a bulldog, which is quite nice. So Catlike, you know what, I'm going to leave that to last because Catlike is the one where I feel it all goes to shit, for lack of a better word. Regeneration 5, it's very similar to Assimilate, sorry, in the sense that when you're out of combat for 10 seconds, headshot kills. Oh yeah, sorry. Regenerate 35 health per second out of combat, and headshot kills restore 50 health immediately. So instead of it being 100 shield, it's 50 health. You can argue which one you prefer. Personally, I think the 100 shield would be pretty cool, but you know, maybe because you've also got the regeneration stacking on top of that 50 health, it would be quite nice. Okay. And then you've got all these other mirror cloak. I think we've all seen about that. Remain stationary 8 seconds. Cloak the user. You know, all that. The rest, vampire. I don't see this being used a lot. But okay, so what I want to talk about now is Catlike. So we're going to read it here. So it reduces the movement speed penalty for crouching. Now in Planetside 2, people don't crouch as much in, say, like, you know, games like Call of Duty where people do the drop shots. It's not, Planetside 2 isn't on that level. But I notice in it, because I've always been someone who crouches a lot, you know, when they're 10 around. I think people have always commented on that, I know from BHOT. And it does actually penalise me quite a lot because, you know, your accuracy is going to go to shit. And actually you can't move as quickly, so that's sad. Well, this implant gets rid of that. So when you're crouched, you have the same speed as you would do when you're walking, which is kind of weird. I think once people get used to that, it's not too bad. But it's the fact that you become when you crouch now, with Catlike 5, you'll be a smaller target and you'll be moving faster, or faster than you would have before. So there's an element of balance there I think people need to look at. But the main problem I have with this implant, or the main reason I think it's not going to go and sit too well with the players in the game at the moment, is this tier 5. You know, so eliminates the movement speed and crouching penalty, whatever. Movement speed when crouching, whatever. We know that. And your sprint speed is increased by 10%. That's not good. Okay, so 10% might not seem like a lot to some of you, or it's like, oh, it's, you know, whatever. But 10% is a lot. You remember 0.75 movement ADS? You know, everyone was like, oh, it's bullshit. And then other people were like, what do you mean? It's fine. You know, I know that. In the end, they just took it out of the game because the game itself, with its movement prediction, with all that kind of shit, just couldn't handle it. It's the same problem they had with Zoe. With Zoe, for Max is increasing your speed. Not only damage, but, you know, it also increases your speed. And with movement prediction being so shit, with people not having low pings, people having pings of about 100, you know, like, as a regular for a lot of people, you know, you end up with some really dodgy situations in a client-side game. And this is, essentially, this is 0.75 on steroids. Because you might be thinking, well, you know, Trim, it doesn't matter because you can, you know, shoot when you're sprinting. Well, it's not about when you're sprinting, it's about the fact that you can turn a corner really quickly. I actually did, if you want to go and check out my stream and check Reddit, because Destruction actually clipped some of this, because it does also stack with the adrenaline pump. So adrenaline pump's already quite underperforming, at least, or like people just don't take it because, you know, they'd rather have a more useful shield slot. But if you run Catlike 5 with adrenaline pump, you run so quick. It's actually insane. So if you add a shotgun to that, it's very good. So I'm going to run what I think people are going to be running, you know, Battle Hardened 5, Catlike 5, whatever, on heavy. So I don't know how much you guys can see, like, but this is a lot quicker. Like, it feels a lot quicker. I'm recording 60 FPS, so I don't know how, you know, it's going to show up. But I'll tell you now, from my end, it feels a lot quicker. And the problem is, when we did some testing with the guy with the jackhammer, okay, so he put his jackhammer on 3 burst. I'm going to take a pump action shotgun for demos. And he could peek out and fire his 3 bursts and peek back into cover because you're not really ADSing with a jackhammer. He could do that. And the max, I could see about 2/3 of his body by the time he came out. But a lot of people said they couldn't actually see him when they shot. And I think that's because I'm on 144 Hz monitor. I don't know about them lot, and I had really good FPS at the time. But it's just not good. It's not good. So with shotguns, you're going to end up people just running around cover like this. You know how people already juke around pillars with shotguns? You know, when they're playing Light Assault ever? Well, imagine a Light Assault with Adrenaline Pump with Catlike 5 peeking around pillars with a shotgun. In fact, let's put that on now. See if you can notice how much quicker. So we'll go with regular Light Assault with let's have a good Dimus on, because our pump actions are going to have the most benefit. The Dimus on. Right, this is normal Light Assault, right? Got that. And you guys at home, I want to get your stopwatches out and just kind of take a look at this. So you do, it's fairly standard, you know. So let's go to the implant. So Battle Item 5, and we're going to put Catlike 5 on, okay? So it feels, you know, a bit faster. It's hard to tell right now, but over a distance and, you know, playing with, if I had another person to model this with, it'd show it a lot better. Now let's go and put on Adrenaline Pump. I don't know if you can tell, but that's ridiculously fast. Oh yeah, with some drifters on as well. I'll put them on because you can move incredibly fast and incredibly quickly, and that isn't the problem so much as it's the problem when it comes to, we all know Planetside ain't great for lag. Imagine someone coming full pelt around a corner like this. Essentially, what this 10% extra sprint speed is, it's going to make it easier for people to dodge and duck and weave away, but it's also going to make it easier for people to flank in like some positions where they just shouldn't be able to flank. I think with heavies you're going to find that it'll be much more viable just to be like run out of cover and peek back in again. Like already you see a lot of people do this where they'll like, say there's an enemy at this pillar here, they'll like run out and like run back again to kind of get them to fire, and then they'll peek back when their aim's bloomed, and that's just going to be even worse. And what another problem is when Europeans are playing on Jaegers. So this is more of a competitive thing. We can argue dead game, you know, whatever, competitive, lol, what a joke. But in reality, for 1v1s on a server where, like, I've got a good ping to this server. Well, that's weird. I got a good ping to this server, yet, you know, a lot of people from Europe have, like, 150 ping. A lot of people playing on Miller from, you know, Eastern Europe can have, like, 80 to 120 ms. Doesn't sound a lot, but trust me, it makes a world of difference in a client-side game. I think we all know those. If you remember back to 0.75, we all know them horror stories. I know America had Brazilians with a really high ping who would just like lag around, and then you know, we had some Russian players who would on Europe on Miller who would just lag around. You know, and it's not really their fault. It's just the fact that, you know, they're trying to play from a location where they've got a high ping. And that's exactly what you're going to find. I would not like to be playing against a team of Europe. If I'm American, I would not like to be playing against a team of Europeans on Jaegers when they have access to, when they have access to this implant. I mean, at the moment, I'd say just don't... The crouching movement speed, cool, you know? That's got its own uses. But increase sprint... Just any increased speed by 10%. If it was ADS speed by 10%, if it's any of that by 10%, don't do it. We've been there with 0.75. We've been there so many times. I can't believe how much, you know... how many issues that caused for so long. And now they finally changed it. A while later, they're going, how about we add this? And it's literally might as well be the same thing because it'll be used in exactly the same way as 0.75 was, you know? But now everyone can use it. Whether or not you think that's, you know, you might be like, oh, well, everyone can use it. That'll make it OP, you know, whatever. But it does, because the game at the moment cannot even, like, the game can barely handle regular live play because of tick rates, because of all that kind of shizzle. You're going to add this in, it'll be like 0.75 again. The game simply couldn't handle that for the majority of people. So I'm kind of lost for words. I think if you keep it on PTS, cool, work on it, cool, but do not put it, and I don't care what your temptation is, don't put it on live, because it will kill a lot of people off. I don't mean they'll leave the game, I mean they're going to get pretty disheartened when someone comes around the corner and kills them before they even appear on screen, because that is what will happen. The rest of the implants are all pretty standard, but I think Catlike's the one where you look at it and go, well, it's movement speed. I'd rather have more health when I kill, or more, you know, more ammo. But actually, Catlike's probably the best implant at the moment. I mean, I'm ignoring Battle Hardened 5 because I see that Battle Hardened as a way of life more than an implant. But right now, Catlike, it's too good. It doesn't seem a lot, but it is too good. Go and watch some clips on twitch.tv/MrShrimpTF2. That's my YouTube channel. Look for some test clips. Des clipped some. Des clipped them, and he's from Desanfall. So if you go and look at them, and that's when we're testing, and you can see other people, because it's hard to see it from my point of view. But I can tell you now, from playing this game, from getting the feel of it, you move a lot quicker, and the game won't be able to handle that. What'd be cool is if we get some people together, like comp players, and do like a 12v12 scrim or a 6v6 scrim on BTS, with these implants in, so we could get a feel, because I think a lot of people won't be able to use Catlike to its full extent, but the people who will be, it'll be people with 100 like ping, 120 ping, like most Europeans and most British people to Jaegers and PTS, and also people who are good with infantry. They know their movement, they know their positioning, they know how to take advantage of these things. So if we can get some scrims up between players, between countries, if we get America versus like Europe, so we can get like an idea of how the ping's going to change, how ping affects it. You know, having people with 60 ping versus people with 120 ping. That'd be cool if we could have Europeans versus Europeans to see how, you know, two laggy people fight against each other with it. I think these are all like hard to do things, but I think it would really benefit, because if people want good player feedback and if people want these implants to come into the game with them in a good state, those are the kind of things you need to do. So we need to like look at that. Like I say, chances are, and I haven't been playing the game much recently. I've actually just come back from like a couple of week break, and I very rarely keep track of PTS changes, because unless they're incredibly, different. So now this is something I'm keeping track of, because I'm worried. If this comes to live like it is, I'm very worried. I think it's very cool. I think, these tiers work very well, better than the current implant system. As someone who bizarrely lost 200 charges when they logged in one time. It's weird. I should have put a ticket in for that. The whole system's good, but it's this implant. It's this one right here. So I'll let you read it again just so you can see what it exactly does. This is the implant I'm worried about. The rest are good utility implants, just overall great changes to the game, especially ammo printer. I think that's long overdue. But yeah, take a look at that. And also, minor cloak, just a heads up. I don't like the idea of people with shotguns using this, but when I played against it yesterday, I didn't find it too much of an issue. So all them people saying, worried about people being able to count with shotguns, it's going to happen regardless, but it isn't very effective, and I didn't have any problems, and that was in a close quarters environment as well at the bottom of Ickenham. So, don't worry about it. That's not going to be a big issue, I don't think. So yeah, Catlike, take a look at that. If you want to try it out and see what I mean, get some friends together, go on PTS, get one of you to record it maybe for other people, but take a look at Catlike 5. Don't just dismiss it. Don't just agree with what I'm saying. I want you guys to, test it out for yourselves, make your own opinion on it, because I'm quite biased as that infantry guy. So take a look, see what you think. Right, cheers for watching.